Alright, everyone, welcome to a 25th episode of Everyday Thoughts, and let's get straight into it. So, I want to start off this episode with a question. It basically says, do people love us for who we are or for what we do and provide for them? And the same question applies to yourself. Do you love yourself for who you are or for what you do? Yeah. So I think it's a really good question, and it goes hand in hand with um, exchange. And that being said, like exchange being extremely honest. And like for example, when you all have a friendship with somebody, you basically have a exchange in mutual interest. So you are probably friends because you have a mutual interest or you both benefit each other from each other from your friendship. So I think the answer to the question is people don't actually love us for who we are, but for what we do. And I don't think that's a bad thing, since exchange is such an honest thing, and you can always tell by, you can always think of the exchange that you have, or that you're going through when you are friends with somebody or in relationship with somebody, and also with yourself. So, what do you do for yourself that can make you feel better and makes you love yourself more? So, for example, it could be exercise, it could be learning something, it could be reading anything. But what I'm trying to say is that we don't really love people for who they are, but for what they do and what they can provide and benefit us. That might sound really selfish, but to be honest, I don't think it is, since especially relationships are heavily based on mutual interest and mutual benefits. So, you know, you are benefiting in some kind of way, and the other person is also benefiting in some kind of way. So, there's nothing really bad if no one is harming anyone. Then what I also found, or what I noticed, especially through listening to podcasts, is that the best or the most pleasant people to listen to are the ones that listen a lot. Listen a lot and take their time with answering a statement or just anything, or answering a question. I think that's really interesting. But I think it also kind of makes sense, since as people we want to be heard, but it sometimes may feel hard to listen to actually try to understand the situation or the argument or whatever. But instead, it's just everyone is so stuck to their own opinion and just doesn't want to accept or try to change their mind in any kind of way. And that's why I think, especially like people like Joe Rogan, are so incredibly pleasant to listen to and are so entertaining speakers, actually, because you can see him change it, like have an opinion on something, and him changing it in the span of a couple of hours through a conversation, because he actually tries to understand the other viewpoint and not to just listen to reply. And then what I found really interesting is that a human today faces so many external stimuli, like a person in the Middle Ages through its whole lifespan. That is actually crazy. And I found this out through a book I'm reading currently by Wim Hof about breathing. Very interesting book. I would recommend it for sure. Made me rethink a lot about stress and in general just breathing. And turns out that the ideal ratio of oxygen and hold up. Yes, that the perfect ratio or ideal ratio of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the bloodstream is 3 to 1, 3 to 2, and that oxygen is very important for transporting waste out of the cells, and carbon dioxide is very important for keeping the blood vessels open. So both very important, and carbon dioxide isn't just waste that we breathe. And yes, that is basically it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you around.